It was like traveling through time.
Welcome to 2019, the year of Blade Runner, Akira, The Running Man, and even more terrifyingly dystopian, actual reality. Don't worry though, there are plenty of games in which you can hide away from the world this year, including a few titles you might have missed. Here are 7 new games for 2019 you didn't know you needed in your life.
I got your letter. So, you wanted to see me, Joy?
Her in my apartment. Again. Don't know what to do.
What do you mean? Did someone break in? Were they threatening you?
Yes. Her. Again.
What did she want?
Keep my mouth shut.
If 2018's Call of Cthulhu wasn't enough cosmic dread for you, prepare for more eldritch entertainment on the 21st of March in the shape of The Sinking City. The Sinking City comes from the people who normally make games about Sherlock Holmes, though we did have a sneaking suspicion this was the sort of game they really wanted to make. Not sure what tipped us off. Oh yeah, it was that Sherlock Holmes vs Cthulhu game they made. This game bears at least some relation to the Sherlock series, which was actually getting better as it went along. The Sinking City is an open-world investigation game and will involve you piecing together clues with the help of your mind palace. The city itself is the fictional Oakmont, Massachusetts in the 1920s, which recently suffered terrible supernatural flooding, and you play a detective from Boston. It's always a detective from Boston, isn't it? Hasn't word gotten around yet? I suppose they keep dying or going mad before they can fire off a telegram. It all looks suitably atmospheric and promises to be scary as well, at least judging by this creepy grandma who goes around sewing people's mouths shut and making gross teddy bears out of their dogs.
Come to Granny.
What's wrong with playing bingo as a hobby, lady?
Oh, Christ almighty. It's still wet.
Lucas?
Yes?
What does he have in his blood?
There's an old story. It tells of the Prima Macula. The alchemists say it was the first evil, and that it silently travels in the blood of certain families. But something happened. The Great Break, and the macula awoke in Hugo's blood.
Don't get the wrong idea about A Plague Tale: Innocence. This isn't the sort of plague that turns everyone into zombies or mutants. This is the old-fashioned medieval sort of plague where people just get horribly sick and then die unpleasantly. That's not to say A Plague Tale isn't spooky. The first time you witness hundreds of rats exploding out of a dead horse, you'll be begging for the zombies to come back.
Oh no! The rats! Keep away from them!
Amicia, they're everywhere! Hundreds of them!
Avoiding those rats and even using them to your advantage is going to be a key element in the game, but your survival is complicated by the fact that you'll be protecting your 5-year-old brother Hugo.
Now! Run!
That doesn't just mean keeping an eye on him, but often physically escorting him through scarier moments, or sending him to hide as you complete particularly dangerous tasks. The game will be a blend of stealth, puzzles, and 5,000 on-screen rats.
Stay there. Not a sound. No problem.
Enough of this nonsense. You shit won't budge. You want me to try? Unbelievable.
Oh, and if you're wondering, the Innocence mentioned in the game's title is presumably exactly what Hugo loses the first time he watches you precision headshot a guard with a sling.
Huh? Something's going on over there. Guys.
Hell of a no-scope though. No gun, even.
Oxygen levels critical.
Typhoon Studios is a brand new developer headed up by Far Cry 4 creative director Alex Hutchinson. The studio's first game is Journey to the Savage Planet, or as I like to call it, Journey to the Savage Planet. Although it might look like a survival game, what with the dead space person immediately outside the hatch of their spaceship, this is apparently not a survival game. Instead, it's described as an upbeat first-person adventure game, and it definitely doesn't seem to be taking itself too seriously.
Kindred has been voted the 4th best interstellar exploration company by our peers.
That's fine, I'm definitely not even the 4th best astronaut, so everyone's a dangerously underqualified winner. Visually, the as-yet unnamed Savage Planet has a colourful, almost No Man's Sky look, which means Typhoon Studios is probably going to spend the rest of 2019 trying to convince everyone how not at all like No Man's Sky it is. No really, come back!
and at times you may find it difficult to know the right thing to do. But you should understand that there is no right, and there is no wrong. You see, we each make decisions according to our own moral compass.
We make no secret of being horror fans here on Outside Xbox, and when Until Dawn came out on PlayStation 4, we eyed it jealously from afar. Fortunately, The Dark Pictures is arriving on Xbox in 2019, and it is an even creepier spiritual sequel by the same developers. Spiritual being the operative word. Designed like a classic horror anthology, The Dark Pictures is an episodic collection of games. The first episode will be called The Man of Medan and set on a ghost ship adrift in the South Pacific.
We have unexpected guests.
Just like Until Dawn, The Man of Medan features a gang of the regulation sexy teens just waiting to be bumped off one by supernatural nasties. Your job as the player will be to finish the game with as many survivors as possible, and then to go back and play it again, making all of the wrong choices so you can see all the horrifying deaths, obviously. Oh, and the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed that the cast features Shawn Ashmore, the guy from Quantum Break. No, the other guy from Quantum Break. Yeah, him. If you're tired of conventional post-apocalyptic games that feature boring humans, might we suggest you'll prefer Biomutant from a bunch of ex-Just Cause developers. In it, you play as a customizable mutant rodent, whose physical form determines their abilities. Chunkier characters can absorb more damage but will be less agile, and give your little rat possum thing a massive head and it'll get smarter. Though it'll presumably struggle to find a hat that looks good. Everything's a compromise is what I'm saying. Biomutant's setting is a huge open world and you'll need to mutate and augment your character to get around, as per the genre that we understand is called Metroidvania, named after the games Metroid and Castlevania, rather than a region of Eastern Europe you've never heard of. We're not gonna lie, Biomutant looks weird as hell, but you definitely won't have played anything quite like it before. Unless you're extremely cruel to your pet rats, in which case, stop that.
This is it. This is where it all ended. I wonder how much things have changed. Take my clothes and what's my name? It's only been a year.
Don't Nod, the studio behind Life is Strange, returns in 2019 with another episodic adventure game set in fictional small-town America. The difference here is that instead of playing as some sort of edgy teen, you're playing as a fully grown man with fully grown man problems.
What happened last night?
Seems pretty realistic to me. Investigative journalist Sam does have a slight quirk in the shape of the double.
I'm telling you, we'd almost gotten over this. And yet, you're here again, and this time you dragged me here.
The double is a manifestation of the wackier, more confident person in all of us, who usually only comes out after several adult beverages. Though I'm still not clear why he's dressed like he came straight from Henley Regatta. Solving mysteries in Twin Mirror will involve interacting with the real world, but also exploring your Mind Palace, bringing the number of games featuring a Mind Palace in this list to 2. 2019, Year of the Mind Palace? We're calling it right now. Oh, and it's set in West Virginia, but don't let that put you off. That being Fallout 76, not the fine state of West Virginia. I'm pretty confident it's nicer in real life.
He was a uniquely talented acrobat, but also a gifted psychic. Don't forget my canoeing badge. It was a big pain in the neck. But somebody messed up and let him into the Psychonauts.
Cult classic Psychonauts, the first ever game from Tim Schafer's Double Fine Studios, is finally getting a sequel 14 years later. This is like when we had to wait 19 years for Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. And the worst part was, it turned out to be Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Psychonauts 2 shouldn't be the game equivalent of that hot mess, however, and though we've only seen some quite early footage and a pre-rendered trailer, the game already appears to be a robust 3D platformer even before you get to all the cool psychological weirdness Psychonauts is famed for.
The Mother Lobe. Man, you guys really like puns.
Returning character Raz has now been inducted into the Psychonauts and is now venturing into even more dangerous minds as the institution dabbles with creepy stuff like necromancy.
Some brains have better off broken.
Ooh, does that count as a Mind Palace? I'm having it. There you go, 7 games you might not have heard of to get tracking on your radar in the year ahead. Which of them appeals the most? Any other upcoming games not getting the attention they deserve? Let us know in the comments, and like and subscribe for much more on these games and more in the coming months. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.